Hello, and welcome to Thingness.
This podcast is one part of our domestic microgallery. In each of these episodes, we sit down with our current exhibitor and talk about objects, things, and collecting in relation to exhibiting outside of white cube norms. We are Hannah
And Martin, and today we are joined by Lisa Mårtensson.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome
Hey.
to the podcast.
Thank you.
Would you like to tell our viewers something about yourself?
Yeah.
Is it really viewers though? Listeners.
Listeners, spectators.
Spectators, yes. Anyway, sorry.
That's okay. I am a performance maker from Malmö. I'm soon to graduate my master's here in Gothenburg.
Very exciting.
So this is how I met you guys.
Yes.
I did my final performance at Skogen. And I think actually it's during this master that I developed this solo practice that is quite object related.
Yes, and which was the kind of the reason why we wanted to invite you here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is it that you've been working on then in this solo performance? Like specifically, maybe you could give a little example of what it was in the performance that I saw.
Yeah. I would say that the core of it is the putting of questions to objects, to inanimate objects.
Yeah.
Quite everyday objects that we don't value usually so much. They are just there, they're handy, we use them for different things. So I take these objects from Skogen, where I perform this, and ask them questions. And then move over to this kind of installation, doing different installations with them. For example.
Yeah, for me, I would say it was almost like, that you're thinking of the objects on par with you as a performer.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, I've been like looking at them as collaborators.
Yes.
And like trying to shift agency towards them from me and back.
Nice.
Hannah, you saw this,
Yes.
but I missed it.
Yeah, it was really sad. You were sick.
I was sick.
Yeah.
Oh, was that it? I thought you were
Yeah.
You saw this, and
I'm
what did you think about this?
a frame of reference.
Yes, I saw this piece, and it was funny because I was working on the poster for it, so I saw the title for it, which was, what was it again? Something with a water bottle.
Don't take a water bottle for granted.
Exactly, and I remember just thinking, being very interested by this title, like don't take a water bottle for granted. So then, yeah, I loved the piece.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you do this really cool thing at one point where you have the water bottle in your mouth.
Yeah.
And then you're like swirling the water around, and it's almost as if like
Don't we have a picture of
the water. It might be the picture that's on Instagram,
Yeah.
and it's like the water stays in place. It almost feels like while you and the bottle are moving around it. That was
the
almost
very last picture on the...
That's a very
on
nice
the bio
description.
thing. Yeah, it was very cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, then moving then on from this kind of like, the reason we wanted to have you here and Thingness is because looking at objects is a part of your practice. So then the question that we ask people is, what is your relationship to things, objects, and collecting?
Yes. I think personally for me, I like at home in my apartment, I only have things that matter to me. I have a very particular relationship to objects. And during my bachelors, I also worked with objects, but then I specified memory objects. And I made this like fake performance lecture about how you can learn to time travel through memory objects. So there's been this relationship to objects before, but now the last years I've started to read Object Oriented Ontology. So then there's two ways I would talk about objects. Object as in everything, like me as a human being an object, this table, plants, trees, air, fictional characters, everything is the same, is objects, and they are initially equal.
It's a flat hierarchy.
It's the flat hierarchy, right? So the way I kind of went into object relations now is to also from a performance practice perspective to like how can I collaborate with non-humans in a flat way Can I even? How do I use what I call the putting power that I have, which is basically like the power that I can actually put a cup. I can pick it up and then put it down somewhere else. So it's very like an atomical power in relation to objects. But also when I ask the object question, it's like, obviously I picked the questions. There is like a listening practice going on. So I kind of try to pick up what the object is telling me, but that's like a belief system somehow, like I can tap into it and yes, okay, I'm communicating with the object, but then I can also have this like other brain that is like, yes, but you're making it up. Yeah. You know, it's like, so then obviously I give it a voice in that sense that I picked the questions, even though I don't answer for the object.
Yes, that was it. Because in the performance, what it was, I'm speaking to Martin now, is that like, it was almost like you were hearing a one-sided conversation. And that I think at first I was thinking that maybe like you were just listening, but then like you were listening to what it was saying back, but then almost then over time it was as an audience, almost as if you were like, not even that you were hearing what it was they were saying back, but you were just kind of having that space for like imagining what it was being said back. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think there's like I think the answer is very much in the audience, in the head of the audience, and that is where it should be, because that's how you kind of gain, I don't know if it's empathy is the right word for an object, but at least like recognize its
sympathy, perhaps.
Sympathy, yeah, and recognize its agency and that it actually exists, and that we cannot know anything about the experience of being an electric cord.
Yeah.
And that's like the whole.
Maybe a snake could.
Maybe a snake could.
I doubt it though, but at least they have more similarities.
Yeah. But that's funny, isn't it?
Why I have a question though?
Okay, but I was just going to say that, isn't it funny though that you as a person are linking those two objects together, a snake and an electric cord?
They're just shaped the same.
Yes, the shape is the same. Okay, sorry, what was your question?
My question, the obvious follow-up question is this. If you were reincarnated as an object or a thing, what would it be?
Well, are we talking about objects as in the Object Oriented Ontology way, or in a thing way? Yeah. Oh, that's such a good question.
A weather system. That's pretty nice.
Sorry?
You would be a weather system.
No, but that could be nice, no? Little gust of wind.
So you'd be something more...
No, I would be a piece of scrap metal.
I would be like water. Or a whale. Like either live in water or be water.
Live in water or be
water.
Be
a lake, maybe.
Yeah. That's like that, what's his name? Bruce Lee quote. Be like water.
Yeah.
Because it's smooth and it flows, and
when you fight,
crash. Yeah.
It's very Buddha oriented, also like to be a stone.
Oh yeah, it's like a way of dance movement, isn't it? Not dance movement, but dance practice.
Yeah.
Yes.
What about you?
What would I be?
Yeah.
I don't know, my first thought goes to like a pencil, but I don't know if it's just because I'm connected to, like, I like drawing and I like what pencils do. So the thought of like being something that's still creating feels kind of fun.
But are you creating or are you being created with?
Oh no, yeah.
And are you a pencil with an unbroken point? Or
a sharp one?
In my head, I was like, you know that point at which like they're still sharp, but the sharp bit is like a bit rounded. You're not like fully flat line, but you're not like...
It's like wiggling?
No, I'm not one of those types of pencils. No.
One that's been dropped one too many times.
But that's interesting also then, like, is the pencil creating... Because the material, the thing that you're being seen is coming from it, but it's not deciding what it's doing.
Yeah, I had this sessions with books when I was doing this practice. And then it becomes like the book contains so many things that is more than its material body. So it's very humanesque in that sense. And then the question I always popped up is like, do you actually identify with what is in you? You know, is the book or the text in the book?
Right.
You should read, there's a really great book, and we'll put this in the bibliography now that I'm saying it. I think it's Ruth Ozeki is the writer. And the book one, do you know about this? I've forgotten the name of it now.
I read one book by her. It's like this, in Swedish it's Sagan om tidens väsen.
Sagan om tidens väsen.
But she has one, I've taken a picture of another book by her that is...
The Book of Form and Emptiness.
Yes.
That's what it's called.
I want to read that, but I haven't.
You should really read it because the book is... I love it. It's one of these things also where like you're reading the book, but in the book they're talking about another, a story. And in that story it alternates chapters between the perspective of the boy in the story and then the book that the boy is reading. And the book talking from the book's perspective. So there's a lot of reflection on like how it is to be a book.
That's amazing.
But then I think what's really interesting is that then while you're reading it, you're reading a book, but it's not the book, the character in the story.
A never-ending story.
Oh yeah, it's quite similar. But
I've not watched Neverending Story.
But the Neverending. Yeah, actually.
Because it's all about the book, and in the end, like
yes,
the Empress is like looking at the viewer, because it's like breaking not just 1/4 wall, but like 2.
Yeah, I will definitely read that. I have looked at it and being like, I should.
Because it's both like a very interesting perspective on what books are and objects and things, but it's also just a really good story. Like she's a very good story writer.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to, because I think we could talk all day about this around just things and objects, but let's continue that reflection on what it is that you've put in Thingness.
Yes. So I have to reference back to this performance all the time because that's since I usually work with performance, and the way I did it now at Skogen, I took things from that place. So in that sense, it's kind of site-specific. And that's kind of how I want to keep working with that performance. Yeah. So when you ask me to put things in the shelf, I mean, I don't make objects. I'm not a visual artist. And I actually don't collect things. I do, but it's not like things I kind of want to put in a shelf like an exhibition. So I asked you if I could take things from your apartment.
Yes.
So in the shelf, there are things that I found in your apartment. I kind of chose to go again to the kind of objects that are just around and we use them, but it's not like we put a lot of it's not symbolic, it's not emotional attachment to these objects. Well, I did take some of your... Yeah.
Hannah is very attached to these lumps of waxy candle.
Yeah.
The waxy candle lamps. Yeah. Oh, yes, they mean.
But I also love to make. I loved when you get this perfect circle that drips, from wax.
Yes.
So I wanted to take this. So in the shelf there is like a plastic bag, a balloon, värmljus. And I think what my original plan was to kind of do the process that I do for the performance with these objects and do like this whole... I have this score, I call it the snapping game, where you kind of like just sit with the object for quite a long time and whenever you perceive something from it, it calls to you, as I call it, you kind of snap your fingers to put it in your body. That's like the first stage of this performance practice. And then I also have the stage where you kind of like translate the object into movement and sound. And then comes the questions. So then you've gotten to know it a bit before you do that.
And what are these questions then?
That can be anything. I like to keep them quite... It's like about it's questions...
it's questions like for the specific object.
Yeah, so how is it to be you? How does it feel to melt, for example? How does it feel? Does fire hurt you if you're a candle? And all these questions about this, how
So you're not asking the balloon, should I sell my Bitcoin?
No.
No.
No. It's more like existential questions, and like also like the physical experience of being that object, but also memory-wise, like, do you remember where you're from? I like plastic because it's a very old, even if it's a new material, it's a very old material. It has a lot of past lives.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we were talking about the like, you know, the dinosaur
the
toys having been dinosaurs before.
Exactly. But so, but I didn't do that. What I did instead was to, I don't know what I did, because I did this only right now. I wanted to kind of like, so what happened, these kind of word plays happen in the performance too. There is, I've named some of the installations in the shelf, for example, Breath Ball for the half blown up balloon, and Fauna Forest is the combination of plastic animals and batteries. And I don't really, this is actually a point in the performance that I really don't know why. I think it's like to change the perspective, or like to add on or expand the understanding of that being, or.
But they're all alliterations.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what does that mean?
It's like when it's the same letter from the beginning of each word.
And that was just like...
That was something that happened today.
Yeah, and no, actually it happened for the performance.
Oh, it did?
The lazy ladder and the belly basket.
Oh, yeah.
And the talking torch and stuff.
Did you say those names in the performance? You did?
Yeah, this was the installation, human object installation that I kind of built with audience members, which was pre-planned. So the lazy ladder, belly basket, fauna floor, and that has to do with a different like history for this practice. Besides Object Oriented Ontology, I've been looking a lot at Fluxus.
Yes.
And Fluxus scores, which contains a lot of objects, and that's how I started this like movement translating practice, because instead of using the written score, why not use the objects in the score as the score? So that's kind of how it started. And then and I think I've also like connected this Fluxus style or aesthetic with, I think it's very similar to some of the things that happens in like TikTok or Instagram reels nowadays. It's very gag. It's like, it's just this meme.
Yeah, I never know how to say it. I say meme, but yeah.
Meme. It's very meme.
Yeah.
But you know, yeah, but it's some Fluxus score kind of have that vibe, and then it becomes like it's jokes, and so then these kind of combo words thingies, it becomes just like jokes almost. So I don't know which. I think that has taken over a little bit in this exhibition.
Yeah, but I kind of like it. I can relate, because a lot of my, like the vast majority of my titles for my works, my practice, the last 5 years, have been these like 1-2 punches. It's just like wordplay, 2 words. Yeah. And they kind of like, they have meaning together, but they mean individual things themselves. And sometimes they're also alliterations. Yeah. And like, kind of like, they can be fun, but they can also be like an entry point to something deeper.
Yeah, and like now I'm almost thinking like, in a way, you know, you were saying earlier that like objects are both things that we can touch, but it's also things like wind and like, well, what about words? Like a word object. So even the fact that you've placed these words, and then again thinking about books, like you've placed these words on post-it notes. So it becomes an object in itself that you've then, and then like placing them up against something else, like how is that kind of juxtaposition or that contrast or the or like the complementary kind of feeling between then the text and the object it's referring to, like what happens there in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, especially like now, the word in its current form is text written on a post-it note.
Yeah.
But it has been like, you know, an intention, like, you know, electric current in your brain at some point, coming up with the word. This was like the, you know, the movement, like the force of your hand, putting it down into paper, and like, like the the wind in your lungs, producing the sound of the word.
Yeah.
So like.
Yeah, and that's what I like with this, when it, like this breath ball, that it actually is the combination of my breath and this plastic or rubber or whatever it is thing. I kind of like merging bodies. It was also a little bit a part of the performance. It's harder to do when it's an exhibition.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's like taking away a lot of the physicality in a way. Also.
Yeah, there's no movement involved anymore. It's like you've activated them by placing them here, but now they're going to be here. But I guess what you could think of it though is that, like, in a way, if you think of these objects as performers, they're doing their performance here. Even if they're not moving, they're still performing what it is that you've decided that they're going to do.
Yeah. Yes. True. And this is also interesting when you think of making exhibitions in general. Like, you have here, and I have the galleries in Malmö, and it's like you always put objects and you make them relate to each other. And I am quite interested in, like, when does it start to be performance?
Yeah.
And when is installation? What is the difference?
Yeah.
If everything is object and you can perform as an object, it all becomes like one mushy thing.
Yes, and then also, especially, like, I've been thinking a lot in my practice about, even in the process of making an artwork, that's almost like a performance, because it's an action that's taking place.
And actually, that's, in the way I have understood the emergence of performance, that's also how performance started, when you, like, live painting, or like, what's his name,
Yves Klein.
Yeah, used the models to paint on the on paper instead of painting the models. Yeah, so this kind of like exchanging of what everything is also, and
I mean, like, you also have the individual objects performing an exhibition.
Yeah.
And I was like, some of the meaning is then produced over time.
Yeah.
By us spectating it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's just that thing as well.
Yeah.
Do you want to speak a little bit about, because I think this was kind of interesting in, like, actually how you chose these objects from our apartment? Because it was also, for us too, I think, just to say a little bit about how interesting it was that, like, you'd never been to our apartment before, and you came last week, and we invited you in, and then invited you basically to open every single cupboard, look in every single drawer, and be, like, totally free. And it, like, on reflection the next day, it was kind of like, wow, it feels like this person who's never been here knows more about what we own and about the way that we live than quite a lot of our other friends.
Yeah, totally.
It was this very interesting experience in a way of, like, opening up your home.
So looking at another person's home with different eyes.
Yeah, but then also I felt like we were looking at our home through your eyes a little bit. Like, oh yeah, there's that thing. Like, oh, and how is that? And so yeah, that's my reflection. But, like, how was it for you to come in and kind of just pick what it was that you have here?
I thought it was really nice that I was allowed to do that, but and I guess it could have felt strange, but it didn't. You know, you were like, oh, look, here's my little collection of these things, because you do have a lot of little things.
Yeah.
And then you go through, you open it. There's also, I don't live with a boy, for example, so there's no some things doesn't exist there that exist here, and I forgot to put a tampon now. Yeah.
You wanted to put a tampon in?
Well, maybe that ship has sailed. But
no, I haven't documented yet, so go on.
Perhaps a tampon will be in, or perhaps a tampon won't be in. We'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe it's hiding behind one of the post-it notes.
Yeah, who knows?
But after being here, I took pictures of all the things, and I was kind of drawn, I think, straight away. Because the first place I landed was by the kitchen table, so I was kind of instantly drawn to things on the kitchen table. There is this sense of being like, it's like quite a natural feeling, because when I came home and looked at the pictures, I could quite fast be like, okay. Because I remember opening the cupboard just behind you, Hanna, and
a cleaning cupboard.
Yeah, and I saw plastic bags on the bottom, and I was like, I'm gonna have a plastic bag. So.
And like the sewing thread, for instance, we had. Sorry, I have something in my throat now. I'm going to speak with a funny voice for the next couple of minutes. We had sewing thread and a needle like sitting on the table because Martin had been fixing his clothes, and I remember
this is white.
Yeah, it's changed, but still. But I remember even like just seeing it in your eyes. It was like you came in, and I could tell it was like you were looking at that, and as if like you. And it was just so funny because like there's just a sewing thread, you know.
Yeah.
But it was like it was quite interesting even to notice like you could tell that there were things that you immediately knew that you wanted to include in some way.
Yeah, and you had this like little clip that you have on the bread bags that I was definitely like that. And now it's nice because it kind of became quite matchy.
Yeah.
There's like a color coding of some sort that I'm happy it could like become, even though it's quite random stuff. And I guess I also I guess the balloon was chosen because it was blue, because you had pink and blue.
Yeah,
because I also knew the clip was blue. And I was really interested in this candle holder, even though I didn't know how to use it. I still kind of don't know how to use it. It's just there. But that's okay.
Flipped on its side, so for the viewer, if they look at the picture,
they just see the bottom of it.
It's just a blue circle.
Which is also funny because then going back to thinking about what an object does and like the functionality of it, that like a candle holder could never be used on its side.
Very drippy candle.
It wouldn't. I don't even think it would light, really, would it?
It would, but it would just burn.
You'd just burn everything that was underneath it, wouldn't it?
Yeah. There was also this aspect in your scouting trip here.
Scouting trip, I like that.
It's like, little scouting, where you suggested maybe putting tomatoes.
Yeah.
They had this like cherry or plum tomatoes. Put them in.
But and I thought about that a lot, and it's so interesting when you start to work with objects in this way, because very quickly things become too complicated to work with. Like food feels like it's like such a complex category of things.
Like there's so many things tied to what we think of as food and like what it does and
that it actually feeds. It's like has such a different
but the inclusion of those would have added like a performative like maintenance to the show.
Maybe, for you guys to like change it and stuff.
But then Hannah has a classmate from Bergen who's now on research trip to Japan, learning how to make fake food.
Learning how to make, like when you make it so that it could be like as a prop and things. Okay, but I had one last question that I wanted to ask before we got onto the bibliography, and that was we were talking when you were installing about that these objects most like. The kind of, you said it a little bit earlier when you started to introduce it, that like most of these objects here maybe don't have a kind of symbolic meaning to them. That in a way it's like that you've chosen objects that maybe if somebody comes in and looks at this, they won't necessarily know that they're from our apartment. They could just be like trash from anybody's apartment. And it was a lot of that word, it's kind of like trash that was coming up, that like it's things that maybe don't have so much significance attached to them. And that like we were talking when you were installing about the fact that it's funny because some of these things, if someone else sees it, they won't see what they really mean to me and Martin. Or maybe they'll think that something does mean something to us, and actually we really don't care about that thing, and we were about to throw it away or something.
We all make our own meaning, no?
Yeah. But this was something that you kind of decided that you wanted it to be these sorts of objects.
This is the kind of objects that I worked with in the practice so far, and I was also thinking, because you have a lot of these things in this apartment, like a stone, we picked it here, and and I just think that is, since it is this prylhylla, this is what usually belongs in that shelf. And
krimskrams.
Krimskrams. But things you pick up and it's
bits
like
souvenir-y
and so And that is also its own complex category, as same as food, because, and I haven't gone into, I know I proposed for you, like, what if we do the practice like reverse, you do on my things and I do on your things. And I would bring my knickknacks, like, that is also picked up from different places. It's like a shell from this beach, blah, blah, blah. And how do you talk to that object when, okay, maybe I could talk to your object. How? But I haven't tried yet, but I will probably have to do it. Like, how do I interview my own, that I already put a lot of things on, so to speak?
Yes, you already have meaning and significance attached to it. It's like you've already told the story for it.
Yeah. So can I get past that? And do I want to get past that? And that's a next level thing. And the thing that's funny about this work is that, because I know I wanted to somehow work with other beings, but even like plants feels like next level, like, because, and I don't know why it's...
Maybe it's the living thing with food and plants. Maybe it's there's something, because it's like they're also there. I mean, I know we were talking about this yesterday, that everything is changing, but with food and plants, there's much more...
It's changing faster.
Exactly.
Yes.
That you see it changing.
But it also says something about my ability to think flat, because obviously I cannot think that flat, because to me, an inanimate object is... I don't need to respect it as much as I need to respect a plant, or even say I would collaborate with an animal.
Yeah.
That's like, I need and I think a word that I also went into this practice with is consent. So, and it's interesting how I think, because I could actually ask consent from a dog, for example.
Yeah.
Yet I find it harder to work, because it has a will of its own. So obviously it's harder to work with a dog. And then I'm like, how can I ask a cup for consent?
That feels easier.
I don't know. Yeah, but also it's not easier to ask for consent, but I don't have to have it as much, so I can do. And that's where the kind of interesting flip with the power comes in, because I have to deal with the power all the time. And that's also what's kind of interesting with the practice, I think. That's like, I cannot not have the power. I can just negotiate how I use it and where I put it. Yeah.
Well, I think we could keep talking about this for ages, but I think let's move on to our bibliography before we totally run out of time. And what would you like to add to our bibliography then, our Thingness bibliography?
Well,
you suggest your whole master's essay.
Not my essay, but my bibliography. No, but I would definitely say Object Oriented Ontology by
Graham Harman.
Exact.
Yeah.
All Art is Ecological by Timothy Morton, also a O philosopher. That's my Bible-ish. I would say Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Wall Kimmerer.
I have that book here and I've not read it yet, but yes.
Read it, and then the Fluxus performance workbook with like not all the Fluxus score, but a lot of Fluxus score.
Is this? I think we had this in the Bergen library when I was studying there. It's like almost just the posters and everything.
No, it's just scores. It's this book is the only scores.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I have it on PDF. I can send it to you.
Oh, I would love to see that, because there was a Fluxus book that we had in Bergen, and it was just like an overview of Fluxus in a way, and it showed some of their scores, but some of their posters and everything. But it was almost like it was just like photocopies of. So you got this real old feel of like the actual kind of the handicraft of it, the way that they made things, and
But I think that there is so many books about it,
because they did so much.
Yeah, but this that's the one that I've been using, and I have it, so I can send it to you. I think also. Yes, you had this author on your list.
Oh yeah,
Ursula Le Guin.
Ursula K. Le Guin,
a text called The
Carrier Bag Theory of Fiction.
Exact.
It might already be there, but if not, I'm going to add it.
I think it wasn't, because it was another book by her.
Yeah, because that's a very great essay.
Yeah, that's a great one. And I want to put the song, the You and Me song, that I had in my performance.
The You and Me song. Who's it by again?
The Wannabes.
The Wannabes. That's just funny because me and Martin have a Me and You song, it's called, isn't it? Me and You, not You and Me.
No.
Yeah.
It's something.
You and me.
You and me, you and me.
You and me. Yeah,
Oh,
this is
it's
the
not-
You and Me
But this
song.
is a different You
Ah,
and Me
yeah.
song. Two You and Me songs.
Yeah.
Why that song? What was the... I mean, yeah, it was in your performance, but then why did you even pick it for the performance? Like, what was the...
The only answer I can give to you is because I think it's so fun. And because I think
that's a good reason.
Yeah. And I actually used it in my Bachelor last performance also.
Okay.
That was also quite object oriented. So and it, because it's happy, it says you and me. I don't know. I just like it, and I think people should listen to it. So I put it in your choreography.
It'll go on.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. I feel like we could keep talking to you for probably a whole hour, but this was a really lovely conversation. And thank you, listeners, viewers, whatever we're saying.
This camera. Tell us what you've got going on in your life.
What?
This is from Hot Ones.
All right. Anyway, thank you for listening. This was Thingness.